Hey, Dad, you made it back in one piece from Port Macquarie. Well done.
Well, it wasn't because the hot chicks were tearing me to pieces. It was because Qantas stuffed up big time.
Oh, man. He had the worst debacle getting back from coming up to see me for Father's Day, which I thought was a pretty good effort. My dad came and flew up to see me for Father's Day, and I happened to have my daughter around and family and what have you. Had a massive weekend, and then he just flies the opposite way out of my town to Brisbane to get to Melbourne, and has actually turned up to this podcast. Dad, round of applause. Well done to you, sir. You still got it.
He's to be honest with you. Congratulations. I said, it looks like you've poured yourself a glass of wine. It's congratulations, mate.
There we go.
I poured myself a big glass of wine.
He did.
I deserved it.
I neglected to mention, sorry, I was so caught up in the fact that Dad actually made it in one piece at Marcello that I forgot to actually introduce you. How are you, my friend? Marcello Colosimo from the Memento Hospitality Group. So good to have you and see you. And, mate, how are you?
I'm really good, Jace. Good to see you, mate. And we're in a good spot at the moment. What is it, 6:30 at night nearly? And it's nice to be online with you both.
Have you got a beverage or?
I don't, just water at the moment.
Just
mate.
water, yeah. But he's probably on his fitness regime, Dad.
I don't know.
He's a man with discipline. I mean, you can't be a true wog if you're just drinking water. God's sake.
We had enough yesterday for Father's. I think creativity is pretty important, Matt. I think when you look back in history and you think, as I said, if you try and learn and just everyone just tries to improve a bit, we should all get better. Each generation should get, But if you look in history and you look at say what aristocracy used to do, without a doubt, culture was a big part of people's learnings. And not just
it always has been.
And then if you talk
culture and community,
you talk about physical exertion, so some sort of sport in a way, and some sort of team sport, because I think team sport.
Well, action is creating, like you're saying, like you've got to be physical.
I think team sports.
I love the word team.
Yeah, team sports for young men, I think
yes. Oh.
I think because it teaches you resilience, it teaches you failure, it teaches you
community.
Teaches you community, teaches you.
Well, they also have to learn discipline, behaviour.
Working for other people,
all sorts of
work
skills.
for others, yeah.
I think that they're all lessons that I think are essential. So the idea that you cannot do it is I didn't accept that. The idea that if you read a lot of books and or watch a lot of things, that I like the idea of intense training in a period of time to get the skills better. And so whatever that is, whether it's There's a book called, I think it's The Sports Gene, and they talk about the idea that if you do 100 hours of training is one thing if you do it an hour a day for weeks, but if you do that in a 3-week or 4-week or 5-week period, the skills just skyrocket. So the idea of doing that sort of thing was something that we did with the boys a fair bit. Whatever they did, we did it intensely
just to level up
for that period of time, and then there was other things, and there were certain things that we wanted to. One of the biggest regrets I had was not getting the older two into music. I thought that would have been a really good thing to do.
Have you heard my latest songs? Our latest songs?
Don't listen to his songs for heaven's sake.
The youngest one
You're trying to stimulate your son.
The youngest one plays guitar, but I think the older two would have been good for them. I think.
My daughter's starting to play the piano, and she's 8. So, and she's already singing, and I'm like, go for it, darling. Like, it's amazing to see them just take to that stuff at such a young age.
But you think about that, Jason, also you think about communication, which is, I think, what Matt was talking about with his friend and the daughter talking. Writing the poem was one part of it. Communicating it and speaking in front of others was a big part of it as well.
Yes, the artistic expression.
I think that is very, very important concept, to be able to stand up and speak.
You've got to be brave, right?
Yeah.
Overcoming.
And in a sense, it's standing up and delivering, even if it's to family, but it's to an audience of something that...
Where you might fail.
You have created. You know
they
that
may not like.
You will be judged kindly, but because in future life you're going to have to do this in business meetings and so forth. Right. So why not learn it when you're young?
It's much easier, debating or anything like that, Matt. It's the same type of concept, public speaking.
Precisely.
One of the things, Jace, we did was was that idea that we didn't do pocket money, and the currency was, reading books, and then there was benefits, and summarising the books,
I love that.
Or listening to podcasts. There was you couldn't just say you read it. You actually had to give me a summary.
Yeah.
Or Jenny a summary.
So he actually homeschooled on top of private school.
It's more
this was obviously before AI.
I remember you've got an AI decryptor, March. Like you go run it through the scanner.
Where everyone is a professional cheat now.
Yeah, you're right. But I think the idea of them learning what we know in a much shorter period of time is it's a great gift to give someone.
COVID?
Of course it did, yeah. And so the lessons you learned from that allowed us to shine. And I thought we did shine in. You were around then, Jason. I thought we all did shine in COVID. I thought that business was a leading example for what to do in.
Mate, no wonder it was under such good stewardship, because I didn't know the GFC was what gave you.
Yeah.
That, like that.
Essentially, those lessons you learned from there came, and I loved reading that book. I think we spoke about it when, Giuliani after the September 11, and
Secret Service
treated every day like a war room, and he had the essential services around, and then they sorted out what they did, and they led, and that recovery and what New York became after that was a beacon for leadership, and I think that. Some of those lessons we probably implemented because of the hardship we had earlier on, and then we learnt those lessons and really took control of the situation and went away from being a victim to being quantifying the downside, and which I think is really, really important, because it puts your mind in a place to sit there and say, okay, you quantify the downside, now work on solutions.
Love it, yeah. Cover your weaknesses, double down on the strengths, mate. That was amazing. Dad, that gave me plenty of time to think of a good question. So what do you got?
It's a summary. Listening to Marcello, I've realised we all tend to forget things which we know. But fundamentally, forming the gladiators of tomorrow starts today.
Yeah, so that's it. You're trying to just go out.
Just drop the mic there, Matt.
Drop the mic.
Hey, don't embarrass me. I'm too old for that.
Well, look, I tell you what, in some degree, you actually did a pretty good job encapsulating it. I remember Jerry Seinfeld saying, I'll take a 4-word joke and spend 4 days bring it down to 3 words. Like sometimes less is more than this. So, March, mate, it's been so great to chat to you, hear a little bit more about your story, and just come on with my dad and I, because I know I've spoken about,
Dad. He does speak very highly of you, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really do appreciate it. I think it's an honour to have talked with you, and through the medium of being able to see each other, Zoom,
virtual studio,
it's good because it feels like a real conversation.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. And for those that I don't share that many YouTube clips, but I do capture some bits of the conversation. March, if you're cool, I might reclip a couple of these things out the YouTube. I'll make sure you know about it. You can improve it. Send it to your secretaries. Do what you got to do.
Well, he's better looking than me. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Dad, I don't know if I can work with the Photoshop. It only has its limits.
Thank you, son. Thank you.
March, please
remind
say
me
hi
to disinherited you.
Hi to your wonderful father, Rosario. I really respect him, and that's one of the reasons I want to invite you on, because I got to know you first. Can I tell you one last story just before we duck out of this? When I first started working as a contractor, like after I came back from the US for you guys, and then I met your dad, and I'd seen him around, but I hadn't actually spoken to him that much. And then I said, hey, look, Ross, I'd love to catch up with you at some point, learn a bit about how you started the business. And I had a few meetings on, right? And he goes, yeah, why don't you come in right now? I'm like, I can't right now because I've got some meetings on. I'm like, it's probably not a good start to the conversation. I should have asked him. I had no meetings.
Well, you should have been honest and say, I can't come right now because I can't cope.
No, I got the honesty, I got the integrity, I got the family, all from that. And man, I love you guys. Fucking Colosimos rule. Thanks so much for coming on, March. And thanks for...
Nice to meet you, Matt. Even though it's virtual, we'll catch up for a drink soon. See you guys.
Lovely to have met you, Marcello.
See you, mate.